What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the 7th Django web development with Python tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to be building up the last tutorial, creating our blog. So in the last tutorial, we built this models.py file. As I said, basically the class is the table, each variable here is the column in a table, and then these are the data types and some constraints basically for those. And then this is just some meta information so we can reference the string values of these attributes and stuff. So that's our models.py. Now our wisdom of Django up to this point tells us we still need a couple things. We need a urls.py, we need a views.py, and we probably need a template, right? But what I'm about to show you is a way to kind of circumvent the need for creating a views.py. Django offers us what are called generic views. Let me pull some of those over real quick. So this is an example here. Again, all tutorials have sample code at pythonprogramming.net. I linked to the specific tutorial that is basically this tutorial, only the text version, in all the descriptions. Head there, and there will be a link to this generic display views if you're interested. We're going to be using detail view and list view. The first one we're actually going to use is list view, and then later on detail view. So as time goes on, you'll find that probably most people wind up using generic views most of the time, and then right after maybe detail view, list view, and then render from views.py, so you can render just anything. But you'll see why these views are really useful here in the next tutorial as well. So moving that aside, what we're going to do is we're going to close out of this, and actually we're going to create a urls.py file. We won't actually need to create a views.py. Well, views.py already exists, but we won't need to edit it. So I'm just going to copy and paste one of these py files, call it urls, edit it, and clear it out. So we're going to do from django.conf.urls, we're importing URL, and include these, that's the same we've always used. Then from django.views.generic, wouldn't it be cool if they did generic? Maybe if they could spell it better than me. Anyway, generic import list view, and we're going to use detail view later, so I'll just go ahead and import it, but here we're going to use list view. So then from blog.models, we're going to import post. Now, so what's going to happen here is basically we're going to, when we go to the blog, what are we going to return when a user like first clicks on the blog navbar button? What are they expecting to see? They're not going to see like the latest blog or a blog or random blog. They're going to see probably a list of blogs, hence our list view. So let's define our URL patterns. These are a list. And the first pattern, the first pattern will be, it's a URL, and it's a regular expression, and basically, to get to this point, basically it was, if you recall, it started blog slash. So what on top of this would correspond to what we expect the user to see, like a list of the latest blogs? Well, this is basically the blog homepage, so really, what the user wants is this, because keep in mind this is already leading with blog slash, right? So then the home page would just be $$. Okay, so that's the URL we want, or the pattern that we want. Next, list view, and so if you recall before, we would return views here, but instead we're going to return list view dot as underscore view. And then we're going to say query set. This is going to be the data that we're going to pass through here from the database. So this will be post.objects.all, and then we're going to .order by, and we're going to order. We can order by any of those columns basically. But we want to order by the date column, but we don't want to order by a simple date because that would be ascending. So we would do a negative date. That would be a descending date. So the latest posts are first. That's really all you need. But at some point you would want to limit this, especially if you had like 100 blogs or something. So you could do something like this up to the first 25. So this would be like a limit by addition there. And then after that, we can do a comma here. and then we add this to the template name of, and we don't currently have anything. Keep in mind, this is templates are always looked for at /templates, or actually, I guess wouldn't be /templates, it would be templates/. So then you just give the rest. So we'll make it templates, and then it would be blog, and then the actual template. So blog/blog.html. And that should be it. So that's our urls.py file. Now what we need to do is actually create this template, which will be blog/blog.html in the templates directory. So what we need to do now is we're going to close out of this, and let me pull up a notepad here. Okay, so we pull up the a notepad. I'm just going to create the directory here. I'm going to add a new templates, and then we'll go into that. And then this will be blog, and then it's not a normal file, it's an HTML file. So blog, actually we need another directory. So templates, and then blog, and then blog.html. Chances are we don't have another template that's going to conflict with blog.html, but again, it's just kind of best practice, so you don't have to think about it. It's always going to be led by that blog name, so you're just not going to see any conflicting templates. So once we've got that, you got this blog.html, we're ready to populate this with some information. So this one, first of all, as usual, it's going to extend. There we go. This extends, and then what does it extend? It extends, and again, extends always starts with the idea that it's templates first. So the header.html was located in personal, and then it was header.html. So it extends header.html. Anytime you extend something, you know you got to have block body and end block, or block content and end block. So block content, and then come down here, end block, and then now we actually going to put the content. So as we said before, this is a list view, and we're listing out all of the available blog entries. So what we would do is, if we're going to list out something, chances are we're going to use a for loop to iterate through it. So we're going to say for post in object_list, and in fact, let's pull up urls.py. So this was the query that we're running. Object list, again, this might feel a little magical, like where did we pull that from? That's just, it's coming from the objects here. It's a list object, it's object list, all of the objects, they're the blogs, ordered by the date, but it's everything in that blog. So it's a post object, and what it's going to have is going to have the title, the date, and the body information when we pull it. So anyway, that might seem somewhat magical, but that's how these detail views work. So then, every time we start a for loop, we might as well end it because we don't want to forget to do that. So end for, and now we'll come in here, and we're gonna we'll put them in header 5 tags. So this will be like each little URL. And then what we're going to do is first, we want to have the date. So how might we reference the date? Well, let me move this aside for now, and let me pull up let me put this up here. Let me pull up the models.py file. You'll see one of basically the date column is literally just date, okay? So when we reference date, when we say something like this, post.date, we're saying for post an object list is a list of objects of the capital P post class, but as you hopefully know, when you do a for loop, you're basically defining a new variable here. So each object we're calling post. Each object is going to have a title, body, and date attribute. So when we say post.date, that's referencing the date column of this specific post object. So post.date, and then we're going to filter for the date, and we're going to say the display mode for the date will be capital Y dash lowercase m lowercase d or dash. So this is a full year, so 2015 or 2016. Month would be just 2-digit month, and day would be a 2-digit day. Okay, so this is an example of why you would want post.date to be a date time field. 2 reasons already that we're using this. One is when we go to order it in the model or in the URLs here, when we go to order by date, the only reason we're getting away with that, we could probably do it with varchar, and we'll go by maybe digits, and it might still work depending on which order you did it, but this is how we're able to do that. And then we can format the dates because it's a datetime object. So I'm going to move this aside. So first you got the date, okay? And once you have the date, what we're going to do now is allow the user to actually click on the post title. So to click on it, we need obviously some link tag here. So A, and then the reference will be, it'll start /blog/ and then in here we're going to say post.id. So if we look back at our models, where is my models? I don't know, I might have to open a new one. If we look back at the models, we don't have an ID field. Turns out Django's just going to do that for you. And the ID, if you're familiar, like pretty much everybody's going to have like a self or an auto increment primary key as the first column. Okay, Django's going to do that for you automatically, and you're going to see why that was very nice of them later on. So anyway, post.id, that's referencing that very first column. That just, it starts at 0 and it continues auto incrementing as time goes on. So in the URL, it'll link to that blog / whatever that post ID happens to be. And then we'll close off that link tag. And then in the link, what do we want the link text to basically say? Well, we want it to be a post.title. And then let's add a space here just so the date doesn't run into it. And really that's it. So let's go ahead and save that. And that should be everything that we need up to this point. So this should be relatively simple. The only truly magical thing is this object list. You'll just have to take Django's word for it that it populates the object list variable. So I think that'll be it for this tutorial. In the next tutorial, we'll talk about migrations and what's going on there. And then after that, we'll probably have a live blog. So if you have questions, comments, concerns, whatever, up to this point, feel free to leave them below. Otherwise, as always, thanks for watching. Thanks for all the support and subscriptions. And until next time.